Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. It's time to talk about something really beneficial, something deeply attainable, something most people don't even realize is missing from their lives in this global system of commerce. We're talking about generational wealth under Article 25 of the Sacred Human Rights Peace Treaty, the UDHR Charter. But not just any generational wealth. We're talking about reclaiming our human birthright to a debt-free Alkebulan, the cradle of humanity. Because let's be honest, this whole owing your soul to the Jesuit bank thing? Yeah, we aggressively condemn it as a gross human rights violation and the Jesuit wages for living in commercial sin. Today we're diving deep, my human family. We're going full-on blast against Jesuit conspiracy theorists, but like the politically risen kind, to break free from the satanic indoctrination of Roman Catholicism in the mind. We're talking about why humanity, yes, the whole entire human race, desperately needs a sovereign Ethiopian monarch in the 21st century information age today in 2025. Think about it. An actual Solomonic king, ecclesiastical private diplomat, to ascend the human rights mercy seat in the East, as the adopted prodigal Wold, son of the Virgin Mariam Church in Axum, with cultural and political autonomy. In this day and age, sounds magnanimous, right? Well, stay with me everyone, because things are about to get real interesting. We're about to break down the 5 reasons why choosing a sovereign Ethiopian monarch might not be as magnanimous as it sounds, but the practical realization of the human rights covenant when invoked on common and equal grounds. From hidden human birthrights to global Jesuit conspiracies of enslaving humanity with chasing debt money, fool's gold, we're serving up the biblical truth with a side of international justice, just political action. So buckle up in human rights solidarity and get ready to have your third eye blown wide open with a new human rights paradigm manifested into political reality. This is way bigger than all of us could imagine or hope for, so let's share the human rights glory without petty discord. Alright, my human family, let's get real serious against Jesuit politricks. Remember that little piece of paper, that birth certificate they hand you when you're fresh out the womb? Yeah, turns out that thing is more than just a document. It's basically a social engineering contract signed in voluntary compliance. You see, when you're born, you inherit this precious gift, the international human birthright to life. It's this political thing about living in full equality with all the diplomatic protections that was mistakenly granted to the criminal, human rights violator, in the ungodly vicar for-profit position at the Vatican Unholy See. But here's the catch. That birth certificate? It signs you up for this whole other system, this international economy, and trust me, it ain't pretty. It's like signing away your human birthrights to a dummy corporation. Except the dummy corporation is the government, and the product is, well, you. It's like we're all in this giant Jesuit game of monopoly in global commerce, but nobody told us the human rights rules, and the Jesuit banker is always playing dirty in their lust for accumulating more capital. This is where our sovereign Ethiopian monarch comes in. Think of him as the ultimate human rights chess player, the one who can call out the Jesuit cheaters and rewrite the Jesuit rules of monopoly in the global system of commerce as a universal redeemer, Lion of Judah world banker. With a sovereign Ethiopian monarch risen on the Davidic throne, we can finally cash in on that human birthright to life in which we were all promised by all sovereign governments in the UDHR Charter Preamble. We're talking true financial freedom from the geopolitical Jesuit system of neocolonialism, global financial colonization. This is human rights empowerment, the kind they don't teach you about in certified Jesuit school curriculums. So, we've established that this whole birth certificate thing is a bit of a raw deal for everyone, and a gross human rights violation against the international human birthright to life in global commerce. But it gets worse, my human family. Because this debt-based geopolitical Jesuit system we're all compelled to live in, it's got a name. It's called neocolonialism, and it's basically global financial colonization 2.0. It's the same old story, just with fancier Jesuit suits and a smartphone app for servicing your debt obligations under the unlawful astronomical national debt. Think about it. Trillions of dollars in global debt, entire countries on the verge of collapse. And who benefits? The same folks who always do. The big Jesuit banks, the corporations, the 1% at the Vatican think tanks. They call it globalization. But let's be real, it's just a fancy way of saying they're gonna take your property, and you're gonna like it. But here's the biblical truth. It doesn't have to be this way. Remember that sovereign Ethiopian monarch we were talking about? He is like the ultimate human rights diplomat, the one individual who can stand up to these global Jesuit bullies and say enough exploitation is enough. Envision a modern world where debt slavery is a thing of the past, where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, not just survive, with an automated government system. Sounds pretty good, right? Okay, I know what you're thinking. Hold up, wait a minute, you're going full conspiracy theorist on us now. And you know what? You're not wrong. But sometimes the biblical truth and human rights law is stranger than Jesuit fiction, because in this case, the conspiracy involves the Roman Catholic Church, specifically the Jesuits, secret society of Greek Jesus. Now, I'm not here to bash anyone's religion, but we gotta call a spade and a human rights violator a Jesuit criminal. The Jesuits, my friends, they've been around for centuries, and let's just say they have a deplorable history. A history of power, insatiability, and let's be honest, a whole lot of fraudulent business practices. And according to their works, they're the political puppet masters behind this whole neo-colonialism system in global commerce today. Think about it. They control the Vatican, a country literally built on stolen gold. They have satanic influence in governments and corporations around the world under neocolonialism. And they've been using their religious de facto power to maintain the status quo, to keep the rich getting richer and the poor, well, the rest you know. Now, I'm usually a pretty humble human rights prophet, but this ungodly Jesuit Pope for-profit position, it gets under my skin, family. Because let's be real, the Jesuit Pope, he's supposed to be a man of good, the voice of the people as shepherd for the Catholics. But somewhere along the way, the satanic position became the evil Pope for profits, more concerned with protecting the church's wealth than helping the poor and oppressed. And don't even get me started on the scandals, the corruption, the child abuse, and religious hypocrisy. It's enough to make you lose faith in humanity, let alone organized religion completely. This proves that the whole Jesuit system is rigged, designed to keep us divided and conquered in debt bondage. But fear not, my friends and family, because there's human rights hope for us all. Remember that sovereign Ethiopian monarch? He's not just a political figurehead, he's a spiritual leader, a divine symbol of complete freedom and political equality in a better modern world of social democracy, political choices. And with his ecclesiastical, religious, and political authority, we the people can finally hold the Jesuit Pope for profit accountable, challenge the de facto world power of the Vatican, and usher in a new era of spiritual human rights enlightenment in collective security, all for one Creator and one Creator for all. So, we've covered a lot of ground today, from stolen human birthrights to fraudulent Jesuit business practices. It might seem bleak, but trust me, it's not all doom and gloom. Because here's the biblical truth. People are rising up against unlawful debt slavery. They're starting to see the political cracks in the debt-based Jesuit system, which is a gross human rights violation, to realize that we've been sold a Jesuit lie since early stages of mental development. And that, my friends and family, is where real sovereign people power derives, from the righteous will of the people exalting the whole nation at the same time. Because when we come together as priceless and divine sentient beings in our modern world of social democracy, when we politically unite in human rights solidarity, we become an unstoppable diplomatic force at the UN World Body. We can demand change, choose humanity, a neutral global economy, challenge the debt-based Jesuit status quo, and create a modern world where everyone has the opportunity to be a part of rebuilding the planet as an orderly part of the universal cosmos. This isn't about blind faith in a sovereign Ethiopian monarch, my human family. It's about taking back our collective political power, reclaiming our human birthright to life, and building a technologically advanced future worthy of our children and their posterities. It's about ending Jesuit imperialism now, breaking the political chains of neocolonialism forever, and ushering in a new era of international peace, economic prosperity, and true human rights liberation from religious and political Jesuit tyranny. So, what are we waiting for? The time for complacency is over. We need to stand up, speak out, and demand change in a massive non-violent human rights to life decolonization protest. This isn't just about Ethiopia, it's about a debt-free future for humanity. So join us in this urgent grassroots human rights strike against neocolonialism and political unity. Let's show the Jesuit powers that be that we the people will not be silenced, that we will not be economically controlled. Let's unite and end Jesuitism now. Remember, only in political unity can we overcome neocolonialism with the UN Decolonization Treaty. Let's build a better future together without Jesuit tyranny. If you need more information before we initiate a global human rights strike against neocolonialism, then please feel free to contact the Ethiopian Shiloh at Kingdom of Birthright 2020 @gmail.com in human rights solidarity. Selah, my peace of mind. I give you freely.